mixed success at this question. Very few people got it fully right. So first of all, you must do the basics. Some of you are still not doing this well. This is a long-winded English sentence. You must rewrite it properly into maths with a properly named variable. So I've got a rod and a tube that have these parameters. And the question says, what's the probability that the rod cannot pass through the tube? In other words, the diameter of the rod is bigger than the diameter of the tube. So that's all basic stuff. You should all have that neatly written on your script at the top, and you should be working down the page trying to answer this question. What is the probability that r is greater than t? And you've just got to know that the way of doing this is by converting it into this and then asking yourself, what is the distribution of r minus t? Well, r minus t is that one take away that one. So I would certainly expect the mean to be 3.55 take away 3.6, easy. What would I expect the variance to be? What is the variance of r minus t? Well, if you're not sure, write it down. The variance of r minus t is this, and I have used expectation algebra to sort of multiply this bracket out. And the variance in this case, all it does is it changes the minus sign to a plus. So the variance of r minus t is 0.02 squared plus 0.02, which I typed into the calculator just to be sure, got this. And so that is easy, and I can put that in there. So once I know the distribution of a variable, it's easy to answer a question about it. With this distribution, what is the probability that this variable here is bigger than 0? Well, that's just an NCD question. So what is the probability that r minus t is greater than 0? So I've got lower is 0, upper is 99999. The mean is negative 0.05. What is the standard deviation? Well, it is the square root of that variance here. So I'm just going to type it in like that. The square root of that variance. There is a button here, times 10 to the power. Then I can write negative 4. Notice I used this minus sign, not that one. 8 times 10 to the minus 4. I've carefully put it in brackets just to be sure. Boom. And then remember, because it's NCD, we go down, down, down and draw it. And we get a nice diagram, which you should copy onto your script, and there's the answer, 3.85%. Question B is just the same as question A. We just answer the question, the probability that r minus t is 0.1, simple. Then it just says, give the distribution for twice the rod's diameter added to 3 times the tube's diameter, easy. So that is saying 2r plus 3t is distributed in what way? Well, it's going to be a normal distribution, because anything based on normal distributions stays as a normal distribution. 2r plus 3t, because expectation is always simple. We just say 2 times 3.55 plus 3 times 3.6, easy. And then again, you just have to think to yourself, well, hold it, what is the variance of 2r plus 3t? And using expectation algebra again, we know that that is 2 squared times the variance of r plus 3 squared times the variance of t. And we know those two things, 0.2 squared. So we just plug them into that. Just a simple question, and disappointing. I didn't see much of this being written out properly. Just cutting corners, writing half answers down and getting things wrong. Lastly, a slightly strangely worded question did make it a bit harder to interpret what's going on. So this is I've said that you will always be told it's a Poisson, and we did mention it in the in the test, but I think it should have said it's a Poisson distribution where the average is 7.5. And then there's a bit of ambiguity about 12 months and this sort of thing. But basically it's saying we've got 4 lorries. Is that enough evidence to reject this null hypothesis? So I've analysed this question and realised it is a hypothesis test. And so I must write down the null and alternative hypothesis. This is what he has claimed. It's really sort of a bad question in the sense that you can't do a hypothesis test after you have done the observation. You should have set it up before you do the observation. But I mean that's often difficult in exam questions because obviously they have to give you all the information up front. So we're saying it is 4 enough of information to reject the null hypothesis, which is what Mr. Glass claims. Well, a lot of you did the sort of right thing. You'll say, well, what's the probability of 4? And if that's below 5%, we're done. And the only mistake you made was that it should be the probability that x is less than or equal to 4. It is a region, a critical region for or a worst case scenario. In this case, worst case meaning further away from the mean. So this is what you should have looked up. What is the probability of that, assuming the null hypothesis is correct? So that is just an easy Poisson distribution question. Menu 2. You get it, what's going on. You just press exit if you're not sure what's going on. Distributions, Poisson, PCD. I want to go from 0 to 4 inclusive, where the average is 7.5. Boom, 13.2%. Sorted.